Hello everyone, Dr. Eames here. This time I'd like to talk briefly about one of the theorists in the human relations movement, Abraham Maslow. Now, the human relations movement is generally associated with the behavioral management perspective, and it was an offshoot of thinking that really focused on different things that were really behaviorally related. And so Abraham Maslow is one of those giants that I'd like to talk about this time. He was born after the turn of the 20th century in 1908, and he lived to the 1970s, as far as I remember it. His major contribution is his hierarchy of needs theory. This theory is generally expressed in a pyramid, and that pyramid has 5 different layers. And according to Maslow, if we want to understand what people do in the workplace, we have to understand what motivates them. And that's where this hierarchy of needs theory comes in. It explains that people have motivations. They have things that they need and they want, and these go from the most basic of things, the most conceptual of things. And that if we want to really manage people well, we need to understand these basic motivations. So according to Maslow, we have to satisfy our most basic and important needs first, and certainly they are just as important as our social needs, but if we don't satisfy those safety needs and physical needs first, we certainly won't be successful in anything. That's what our basic motivations are. So the basic layer of the pyramid first is physiological. That really is about do we have a place to live? The basics of life to survive. And certainly we can't go looking for a job or be part of the workforce if we don't have that basic need and want satisfied, that we aren't homeless. The second layer, which is very similar, is safety needs. Safety being, do we have not only a place to live and a home, but do we have a job? Do we have an income of some sort? Do we do something for a living? Those are the 2 most important. And so according to Maslow's pyramid, we can't satisfy higher level needs unless we've got those very basic ones satisfied. So you have to have a place to live, you have to have a job, and those are the most basic motivations of all. They consume us. If we don't have those taken care of, then we certainly can't move up through the pyramid. Now, the one thing to point out here right away is that the pyramid of needs hierarchy is very much culturally bound. This applies very well in Western civilization, in most of Europe, I would say, and the UK and America and so forth, but not necessarily in a lot of collective societies, because those basic needs of physiology and safety are really taken care of sometimes by an extended network of supportive group members, family members, a much wider net than we have in the West, and in particular in America, where our supportive networks are much smaller. But other than that, that's the one big caution about using the hierarchy of needs to understand what motivates people. But once we get beyond physiological needs and safety needs, then we hit social needs. And this is where you have to fit into what I was referring to before, that work group. You have to fit into that clique somehow so that you are an accepted member and that you can operate effectively within it every day. And that satisfies our most basic needs are to fit in socially. And so being accepted at work is right in the middle of the pyramid. Next, we begin to work on more individual sorts of needs and motivations, our esteem needs. It matters to us what our status is, the level of our job, the level of our technical skill, our influence, our reputation, our pay. All of those things go into our self-esteem. But the idea from Maslow, understanding these basic motivations, which are wants and needs that everybody supposedly has, that we can't go and worry about our individual needs and ambitions if we haven't fit into the group, if we haven't made our mark as a part of the officially accepted member of the organization in whatever sense that it is. And then finally, the top level need is self-actualization. My own thinking on this is many of us really don't reach self-actualization. That to me means you are becoming what your potential determines that you could absolutely be, that you reach that pinnacle of what your talent and intelligence and striving and experience would let you be. Well, many of us don't get the opportunity to do that. But it is something that we strive for, and that's why it does make sense that it's at the top of the pyramid. Okay, that's all I wanted to talk about this time. Just how the importance of understanding basic motivations of the workforce and those wants and needs that really form the basis of that motivation. Talk to you soon.